Have you ever planned your day just to have everything go in a totally different direction?
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened to me on Friday, August 21st, 2009, during my first year living and working in Germany. I had been sent to Stuttgart as an expat engineer by my Japanese company in Yokohama. My main task was to coordinate with various people to get samples, to get enough samples from the sample shop in Ansbach and send them to Yokohama in order to meet our project milestones. But what exactly happened on that Friday? I expected it to be a calm and peaceful day when I went to my office at 7 a.m. and have some conversations with my Japanese colleagues, asking them if the samples arrived on time, and they would confirm me that everything went well. By lunch, I would grab a schnitzel with pommes, and then heading home by 3 p.m. That's my plan. But reality had other plans. Right when I arrived at the office at 7 a.m., the phone rang. Toot! Toot! I could see it's Yamada-san from Yokohama. Moshi Moshi, Yamada-san, how are you today? Did you receive all the samples? Sirichai, the samples from Ansbach didn't arrive today. We have to send the test report on Monday. And there's no possibility to do it now during weekend. What the hell are you doing there in Germany? If the project fails, it's all on you. Suddenly, my peaceful and calm North Sea was full of Japanese tsunamis. Mr. Ziegler from Ansbach has promised that he would send the samples to Yokohama 2 weeks earlier. There must be something wrong with this sample delivery. I tried to calm him down. Harada-san, Yamada-san, Mr. Ziegler sent me the sample shipping confirmation. I have to call him and clarify what we can do. Is that all you can do? I will tell Takashi-san that you're not working properly there. Touching! Hanging up. I knew exactly he was going to tell Takashi-san, our manager, that I was the laziest person in that project. But that's fine. The only thing I could do was to prove him wrong. But what exactly should I do in such a critical situation? I decided to call Mr. Ziegler in Ansbach and asked him if he still had some samples left. The idea was to collect those samples in Ansbach, test them in Stuttgart, and then send the test report to Japan by email. In that case, I could still do that during Friday. Mr. Bana-san, we still have some samples left for you. And the bad news is you have to come and pick them up by yourself because there's no sample delivery on Friday. Would that be okay for you? Of course, Mr. Ziegler. That's a big help for us. I will come to Ansbach and collect all the available samples. 3 minutes later, Takashi-san, my manager, called me. What the hell are you doing there? I sent you to work, not to enjoy your Dolce Vita. Another Japanese tsunami. I tried to calm myself down and tell him my plan. Takashi-san, I have just talked to Mr. Ziegler. He still has some samples left in Ansbach. I can go to Ansbach and collect these samples, bring them to Stuttgart, and test all the samples. Would that be okay if I have to work longer than 10 hours today? Because it's actually forbidden in Germany. Well, because our project is in a very critical situation, you should do everything you could to save this project. I will take all the responsibility for the working hours. かしこまりました. You will get the test report before I go home today. And by saying that, I assured him and set off on my journey to Ansbach. The drive wasn't easy at all. I had to deal with traffic jams, heavy rains, hail, and strong winds. Perfect German summer. But after struggling for 3 hours, I managed to arrive safely at Ansbach. Mr. Ziegler handed me the 3 precious samples, and he even invited me to lunch in the canteen. After that lunch, while walking back to my car, I saw something moving in the grass in the plant area. I stopped and tried to figure out what it was. And there I saw a cute, purely white little rabbit with red eyes happily hopping around. I was so happy that I saw that rabbit, and I asked myself, how on earth could there be a rabbit in this factory? What would an Asian guy do if he sees a rabbit in a factory?
Make a selfie.
That's very close. I took so many photos of that rabbit, and that made me very happy. It also gave me a good feeling. It's like a good sign, a positive sign, telling me that I was on the right track. And feeling re-energized, I went back to my car and drove to Stuttgart. It took me 2 hours to reach the lab in Stuttgart. But then there was nobody around. I had to set up the test bench all by myself. Testing 30 test items per 1 sample means testing 90 test items for 3 samples. But that's not a problem for me because I've been doing that for many times already. The large amount of work was not a problem, but during the test, from time to time, I felt so tired. But 2 things kept me motivated. The first thing, that beautiful memory of the white rabbit. The second thing, imagination of Yamada-san's facial expression when he knew that he was totally wrong about me. It took me 2 hours to finish everything and send the test report to Japan. It was a pretty much longer Friday than expected, but finally I could breathe. What happened after that White Rabbit Friday? Takashi-san, my manager, called me on Monday afterwards and thanked me for my sacrifice. He also started to listen to my opinions more during meetings, and he began to show some signs of trust in me. In Japan, people seem to value self-sacrifice very much and sometimes even more than the working result itself. And what about Yamada-san? Unfortunately, I didn't have a chance to see his facial expression when he knew that he was wrong about me. But he managed to call me and apologize for his bad temper on that day. Last but not least, since then, the Easter festival always reminds me of that White Rabbit Day. The day full of emotions, obstacles, and endeavors. Back to you, Pablo.